Some people walk into your life and within minutes you feel exhausted. Nothing obvious happened. They were not rude. They did not attack you. The conversation looked normal from the outside, and yet afterwards your body feels heavy. Your thoughts become cloudy. You suddenly need silence and distance. Sometimes you even begin questioning yourself. You lose clarity. You feel as if something inside you has become scattered. And if you are highly sensitive, if you have ADHD, if your nervous system naturally stays open longer than most people, this experience may happen far more often than you realize. Because what many neurodivergent women call being too sensitive is often something very different. It is openness without boundaries. In mystical systems, especially within Kabbalistic thought, openness without structure was never considered strength, it was considered instability. Because light without a vessel cannot remain. Energy without containment overwhelms. Expansion without boundaries eventually becomes chaos, and many sensitive women live exactly there, open, receiving, feeling everything, without ever learning how to close. Many women with ADHD and high sensitivity move through life with nervous systems that stay externally oriented for long periods of time. Their awareness naturally extends outward. They notice emotional shifts in a room before words are spoken. They hear changes in tone. They sense tension, atmosphere, and emotional undercurrents. They track patterns automatically. They feel what others miss. This can become a beautiful gift, but it also means that the nervous system often remains receptive long after it should have returned inward. Earlier on this channel, we spoke about expansion and contraction. In Kabbalah, there is the idea that the vessel receives, but it must also contain. It must have form, structure, and boundary, otherwise the light disperses. Now imagine a nervous system that receives continuously but rarely closes. Emotion enters, noise enters, other people's states enter, expectations enter, energy enters. Eventually, there is no clear distinction anymore between what belongs to you and what belongs to everyone else. This is where many women begin saying things like, "I don't know what I feel anymore. I was completely fine before meeting them. Suddenly, I feel anxious and I don't know why. I need hours alone after certain people." Very often, this is not weakness. It is permeability. There are people who naturally regulate your system. You leave them calmer, softer, more yourself. You feel clearer after seeing them than before. And then there are people who create the exact opposite effect. You leave fragmented, activated, contracted, and strangely heavy. Why? Because every human being carries emotional rhythm. Some people move from grounded centers, others move from chaos, urgency, emotional overflow, or constant unmet need. Highly sensitive nervous systems often resonate before they evaluate. You feel before you understand. The body opens before the mind notices. This is why certain people seem to drain you instantly. Not necessarily because they are bad people, not because they intentionally take energy, but because your system began carrying more than it should. Kabbalah describes archetypal forces that exist within all of us: expansion, boundary, harmony, foundation, structure, containment. When one force dominates completely, imbalance appears. Interestingly, many draining interactions reflect archetypal imbalance. Some people live permanently inside expansion. Everything feels urgent. Everything is emotionally intense. Every experience needs processing. Every feeling needs expression. Their energy continuously moves outward. They take space without noticing it. They need reassurance repeatedly. Conversations become long emotional containers. Sensitive women often unconsciously become those containers. Other people live on the opposite side. Inside contraction, criticism, control, emotional restriction, judgment, distance. You leave feeling smaller around them, not because they intended harm, but because their energy compresses yours. Then there are the rare people who remain centered, open and bounded at the same time, receiving and containing simultaneously. After meeting them, you do not need recovery. You feel regulated. This is the archetype sacred structure moves toward. Not endless openness, not walls. Sacred containment. Many sensitive women misunderstand energetic boundaries because they think boundaries begin with saying no. They think protection means reducing contact, leaving relationships, or avoiding difficult people. Sometimes that matters, but energetic boundaries begin much earlier. They begin inside the body before interaction even starts. Because if your nervous system is already exhausted, overstimulated, lonely, depleted, or craving connection, you absorb more. Think again of the vessel. A tired vessel cannot regulate flow. It receives without filtering. This is why protection starts before people arrive. Before entering a space, ask yourself, how open am I today? How much capacity do I truly have? Did I sleep enough? Have I already been overstimulated? Am I emotionally depleted? Am I unconsciously seeking validation or connection? Because openness increases dramatically when needs remain unmet. The first practice I want to offer is energetic separation. Before entering difficult spaces, pause for a moment, close your eyes, slow your breathing. Ask quietly, what belongs to me and what belongs to others? Then imagine your attention returning toward yourself, not closing, returning. Many sensitive people unconsciously extend awareness outward all day long. They live in other people's emotions, needs, and atmospheres without realizing it. Bring attention back into your body, into the chest, into your own center. Because attention is energy, ADHD minds often give it away immediately. Returning attention is one of the deepest forms of energetic protection. The second practice is archetypal containment. Ask yourself what force you need right now. Expansion, boundary, harmony, foundation. If you consistently feel overwhelmed after being with people, you may not need more openness. You may need structure. Reduce stimulation, dim the lights, shorten conversations. Sit quietly without input. Drink tea without music or scrolling. Step outside. Create physical and emotional space. In Kabbalistic thought, movement toward containment is not punishment, it is restoration. Boundaries are not rejection, they are architecture. The third practice sounds simple but changes everything. Observe your body after people, not your thoughts. Sensitive women often explain away bodily wisdom. The mind creates stories while the body already knows. After interactions, ask, do I feel larger or smaller? More present or more scattered? More alive or more heavy? More myself or less? You do not need to judge anyone. You only need information. The body remembers what the mind rationalizes. There is also a spiritual misunderstanding many sensitive women carry. They believe love means openness, endless openness, infinite availability, always understanding, always holding, always receiving. But sacred traditions rarely taught endless openness. They taught balanced openness. Even the tree of life contains pathways, order, and structure. Not everything flows everywhere. Wisdom requires form. Perhaps this is the lesson many neurodivergent women are learning. Not how to open. You already know that. You feel deeply. You perceive deeply. You love deeply. The lesson may be learning how to remain yourself while staying open, how to receive without absorbing, how to connect without merging, how to stay compassionate without carrying everyone. Some people will still drain you. That may not change, but your relationship to it can change. You can notice sooner, recover faster, protect better, choose differently. Eventually, something beautiful begins happening. You stop asking why you are so sensitive and begin asking how to protect what is sacred. Because sensitivity was never the problem. Unprotected sensitivity becomes suffering. Protected sensitivity becomes wisdom. So this week, I want to leave you with 3 questions. After every interaction, ask yourself, did I become more myself or less? Did I expand or fragment? What do I need now? Openness or boundary? Write the answers down. Observe the patterns. Because your body remembers what your mind explains away. And over time, sacred structure begins appearing. Not as control, not as walls, but as intelligent containment. Perhaps that is what energetic boundaries truly are. Not separation from life, but becoming a vessel strong enough to remain open safely. If this resonates with you and you are interested in the intersection of neurodivergence, mystical systems, archetypes, and practical spiritual structure, subscribe to Sacred Structure. Because this space is not about spirituality as escape, it is about spirituality as architecture, for sensitive minds, for open nervous systems, and for women learning that boundaries can also be sacred.